You shoot this all the time.
I haven't shot in a while, but Michael will tell you stories. Hi everyone, my name is Tolu Ade. Welcome to Manifest Hub, where we help young adults and young adult leaders build and cultivate an engaging young adults ministry. So I'm really excited to be back with you again today. Thanks for joining me on yet another episode. So before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, you should subscribe to Manifest Hub so you can get, the notifications when we have new videos come up. Okay? All right. So subscribe right now before we continue. Have you done that? Awesome. So let's get started. Today, I have a special treat for you guys. Very, very special. So today we're going to be talking about top 10 questions that people ask about Christian or godly relationships. So I did a poll on the Manifest Hub Instagram. If you haven't followed us on Instagram, you should totally get on that too. So I did a post a few days ago, and I just gathered some questions. So I'm really excited to answer this question with you today. So once again, my name is Tolu Ade. So now let's get started. But before that, I have a guest joining me today. So we're going to be having really, really juicy conversations. Is one of my really good guy friends. We attend the same church together. We serve together. We have actually these conversations together, like outside of church, and we're like, "Ooh, Tolu, what do you think? What do you think?" So I am going to introduce you to him, or maybe he should introduce himself. So, person,
Hi everybody.
Who are you?
My name, I'm Barry Air, or you can just call me Barry.
Or his royal airness.
Excellency. As in AIR.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
So Barry, what do you do? Like, what are you up to these days in these Corona streets? Like,
interesting. Well, I've been stuck at home for the most part, as everybody I think, but just been trying to get busy with work and other small stuff here and there.
Yeah, and if you don't know who Barry is, like, oh my gosh, like you need to follow Air Studios _TO.
There you go.
So Barry is an excellent photographer. It can photograph your soul. Okay. And Barry's also a menswear designer. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
like we have that in common.
We have that in common.
Barry Air official.
Yes.
And then see, I know you.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
You gotta know and support your people. Okay, so let's get into it.
All right.
So Barry, we have really juicy questions. So I'm just gonna read out these questions, and this is the goal for this is for you to have a female perspective and a male perspective. And Barry's, a Christian, like I said, we serve together in the same church, and also for you guys to see that even though we're both leaders in our church. Hi, we should shout out our church people.
Yes.
Hi, JHS Young
Hi,
Adults.
JHS Young Adults.
Hi, we're representing. Anyway, so continue. Just to also show you guys that, although we're Christians, and to also let you know that we're also real. Like, so a lot of these questions that you asked, I know some of you may have been feeling like maybe the church throws Bible at it a lot.
Yep.
Right?
Yes. You always get that scriptural,
blanket or something.
blanket. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah. And
Over
then
these questions. Yes.
yeah, and then it's like, okay, well, I know the scripture says that, but how?
Practically, yes.
So look out. We're just going to be having just talking to you heart to heart and giving you practical tips. And we're going to be honest with you guys to say, maybe we're not there yet, or we're still going. So just to let you know, like, just because people are leaders doesn't mean they're like unicorns and they like dropped from the sky.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We have grace and God is still helping us. Okay. So Barry, the first question, I think people ask this a lot. How do I know when he or she is the one? So Barry has the one.
Yes, I do.
Right now?
Yes, I do.
So how did you know he or she, not he or she?
She. How did I know she was the one? So practically, I think there's gonna be you would experience that that peace. But even before that, I mean, as human beings, you have that nice feeling of that. Those butterflies in your stomach, right? Because of that, of course, first of all, the attraction.
Wouldn't butterflies be like, fickle feelings? Like, do you feel like it maybe that will start? Does everyone even get butterflies? I feel like.
Yeah. I think you kind of have to have that feeling within you. And I think that's where
like
the
a
attraction.
fuzzy, like.
Yes.
warmness to this
yes,
person.
Exactly. Okay. And I think that's kind of where you start getting,
sure,
that, okay, I think I like this person.
I see what I like.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then, of course, there comes the part where when you're like, okay, is this the person? Right? There's always the nerves that come into it. But I think, when you get to a point in time, you're going to have that peace that, you know what? Man, I can actually see myself with this person.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I think when you get to that point, then you can say, you know what, okay.
Yeah.
And of course, the prayers and all of that is you have to. But practically, I think that's kind of where you would.
Yeah, for sure. And just to add to that, I think a lot of times when it comes to the question of the one, we always expect, okay, for me, I'm going to be honest, because for the longest time, I've always been scared of getting married. Honestly, because I came from a divorced family, not even once divorced, twice. I've seen 2 divorces, so it's just it's just marriages, I'm not interested. But then, as I grew in God and had that relationship with God, just the same way God directs you about what job to take, just the same way God directs you every day. That's really how the decision of who is the one, that's how it comes in. Do you get what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of times we try to make it oh my gosh, it's up here, just like I would say, oh, there's a big sin, there's a small sin, but it's still just a decision that you're making. Yes. So inside of you, the same way you have peace, like you said, with other things, you've been making decisions this whole time. It's not all of a sudden when you have to get married that God is now going to flip the switch on you, because I think a lot of people are expecting God usually maybe talks to them through circumstances or in their heart.
Yep.
And then they're looking for the one, and then they're expecting God to just drop down from the sky. It has to be No. So when you hear people say, oh, the Holy Spirit told me, don't just assume it's telling them you're hearing me right now. It's the way God has spoken to them in the past. So, yes. Of course, the prayer, but you're going to have that, there has to be that foundation of, okay, do you like this person first, right? Yep. And then you feel, for the ladies, it's important that you feel maybe safe with them, right? You feel like you can be yourself with them.
Exactly. Very important.
Right? You don't have to sugarcoaty stuff and things like that. So, yeah. So the next question is, this one's juicy. I am not ready to get married, but I really want to be in a romantic relationship. Is it a bad idea? So again, these questions are more from a Christian perspective, because we all know, as young adults, relationship is a big thing in our lives.
Yes.
So yeah, this person are saying they're not ready to get married, but they really want to be in a romantic relationship. I can vibe with this, because I remember when I think I became a Christian when after university I was maybe 23, and then in church everything about relationship was always about marriage, and I'm just but I don't want to get married right now, though. It was just an overkill. And understanding that, there are people like that. You're not ready to get married, but you want to be in a romantic relationship. Is it a bad idea? What do you think, Barry?
Okay, wow, that's a very good question. That's a very good one. I would say there is always, I think, when you're younger, you always, you want to have that feeling that there's someone that I can vibe with. You want to have that feeling that, this is my babe. This is babe, this is my boyfriend. And that's great. When I was younger, I think I had those
We're
moments.
still young, Barry, please. Thank you.
I know we're young, but I'm saying younger, much younger, right? When I was younger, I had that, feeling.
Barry, how old were you when you had your first girlfriend?
I was much younger.
My
first girlfriend, I was probably 14.
Actually, that's not bad. I think most people.
I think I was 14. There are girls that went to school with, but official
14,
girlfriend. I think, yeah.
I think kids are doing it much younger these days.
Honestly, I had this was in primary school, and there was a girl that used to say
you just be holding hands.
Yeah. Those ones. So I thought she was my girlfriend. I was oh, my girlfriend. But,
and then she went to hold hands next day with
someone else.
Anyways, I think I started late though. I started because growing up, my mom was my mom was strict. So are you trying to die?
Yeah.
But then when my parents divorced, it was just I was just accustomed, not it was whatever. So I think my first boyfriend was probably maybe I was 19 or 20, university.
Wow.
Yeah, because
you took your time.
Because it just it just didn't faze me. Yeah. I'm just I beg, it's fine, right? So Yeah. So is it a bad idea?
So going back to it, so I think at that point, of course you want that person, but here's the thing. I feel like, well, I know that there has to be a purpose. I think when you get older, you kind of you want that purpose behind these relationships. Mm-hmm. So, is it a bad idea? I wouldn't say it's a bad idea, but I would advise that you have a purpose. I feel like you have to have a purpose behind it, and also just kind of having your mind that, you know what, this could potentially be a husband, or this could potentially be a wife.
Yeah.
And I think once you kind of have that behind your, in the back of your head, it drives you in a way whereby you can, have meaningful relationships.
So one thing I would say to add to that, though, like I do definitely agree. One thing I would say though, I would say it's a bad idea. I would just say maybe it's not a wise idea for this reason. You're not ready to get married, and especially like you said, when you're younger, like, oh my gosh, like the things I wanted in a guy when I'm not that old, I'm just 33, guys. When I was 25, even just less than 10 years ago, it's much different from where I'm at right now.
Right now, yes.
So you change, right? So, and then that's why you hear people have been dating for a long time and then they break up.
Yeah.
Because, right? So it's just like, I feel like when you're younger, you don't really know yourself. And if you're not ready for that marriage, which is like the permanent, like,
relationship.
Yeah, right?
The forever relationship.
Yeah, supposed to be forever. Then why are we even fiddling with it? And then again, just also knowing that as Christians, we can't just be like, having sex out of marriage is like out of the question. So I just feel like you're just setting yourself up for more. It's easier to like not have sex out of marriage when you don't have
anyone to be
there. When you don't have anybody to cozy up to. But when you have that person, the body is not firewood. So
Very true.
What's the next question? Number 3. Ooh, so it's getting really juicy now. So somebody said, I was sure God confirmed that this person was my husband or my wife. But then it didn't work out. Did I really hear from God, or was it my selfish desires? This one's a tough one.
That's tough. Wow, that's tough.
So what's, I guess, coming to mind is that understanding the scripture that says all things work together for good to those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose, number 1. Number 2 is that the second scripture is that the steps of the righteous are ordered or directed by the Lord. Mm-hmm. So when I think of those 2 scriptures, and also understanding that God is very sovereign, God is sovereign, there's nothing that happens to us that's like a shock to him. So on one side, I'm thinking maybe that's part of your process. Maybe there was something for you to learn in that relationship, right? And also understanding that each person has a choice. It's possible that, like, yeah, you really felt like God was saying this was a person, but if that person is not in agreement, God can't force them. He doesn't force salvation on them. So why would he force you on them? Like, it's putting them in a bad place. It's putting you in a bad position.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
Right? So, because I feel like a lot of times in church, when people come out and say like, oh, and then the guy or the girl like doesn't end up whatever, we just tend to think, oh, did they really hear God? Though?
Yeah,
they really, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So it could be both ways. Maybe you heard God, or maybe you felt like you heard God genuinely and you were just sincerely wrong, or you actually did hear God, and like, again, that person is just not there yet. Or it could be part of your process, like, or maybe, yeah, you guys maybe dated even and then they broke up with you. But, there's nothing that happens to us that's a shock to God. So that's the way I see it. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, I think you did pretty good. Good
job. Nothing else to add?
Nothing else to add.
Okay, number 4. So, my friends want to hook me up with someone. You know how I feel about that. But I'm not feeling them like that. So my friends now say I'm not flexible or open. Am I expected to give someone a chance even when I'm not interested in or excited about them?
Okay, so about that, I would say, I think I'll answer it in 2 different ways.
So before you start, have you ever been like hooked up before or set up?
Have I been? No, I don't think so.
Of course, like guys, look at him. Does he need any help being hooked up?
Wow.
And Barry is like very like what's your personality type? You're sanguine, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Sanguine, melancholy.
I think I'm yeah.
Yeah. So boy is more sanguine. So like it's Barry.
Like,
like,
yeah, so.
I have to sometimes beat off girls off of Barry in church. Yes, guys. So just close your eyes, like this one has gone. Anyways, yeah. So how, like, what do you say?
So yes, I'll answer that in two different ways. The first one would be, I would say, have an open mind.
What does that mean?
Good. So if someone is trying to hook you up with somebody, it could be that they see something in that person, maybe because they've known the person before, and well, of course, you don't know the person, so
True, yeah.
they probably can see some ways where you guys would vibe together.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say and that's why I say have an open mind.
Okay.
The fact that you are, saying yes to going on a date with that person does not mean that it's stamped. It doesn't mean it's a final thing. You could go and it just, you just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And you can say, you know what? Thanks.
But
I went out, I didn't feel it. You know what I'm saying? So that's one. Secondly, I could say, you know what? Sometimes you just have to say, you know what? No. And why would you say that? Sometimes you are just not mentally ready to deal with a relationship.
Okay.
And I think when you're at that position, when you're in that mind frame, it's it's going to be a waste of time because you're just not ready mentally. So even if someone is trying to hook you up, you can just peacefully or gracefully decline.
Okay.
So that's why I would say there's the yes, you could give it, have an open mind, and there's also the part where you can say, nah.
So, as somebody this happens to quite a bit.
Wow.
Well, not that quite a bit. There was a season in my life where it was a bit much, and I'm just like, whoa. Okay,
everybody's just like, I have this person.
Yeah, like it's like, you are still single. It's like, your job is doing, and I'm just like, why do people just assume that just because you're doing well on your job, you're relatively good looking, and like you should be dating somebody? But like, what if it's not God's time for you? Yeah, I just kind of had to be fine with that. So, anyways, I don't like setups or hookups, to be honest. Okay. Like, just the mention of it already gives me anxiety. Maybe that's something I need to deal with.
Yeah, probably.
But I guess because I just feel like there's just so much pressure, because then I have to now answer to the person that hooked us up, because then they always, okay, so how far? Like, how did it go? And then if I don't genuinely like the person, but because they've seen a future, they've built castles in the air, it's now like you have to now break up with them or manage their feelings. So so there's that, and then there's also so I would say if you're open to it, like definitely be open to it, but one thing I would say is check the values of the person that is hooking you up.
Yes. So
for example, if it's somebody that you don't really trust their judgment, you don't even really like their maybe advices to you, it's just not aligning, it does not align to your values, most likely like their judge of character would be like off. Yeah. So I've had that before. Like one, it was actually one of my friend's mom, and like and not that I don't respect, but because she's like an older person, that was the only one I had to consider. But I already knew, because a lot of times too, like not a lot of times, we have the Holy Spirit with us all the time. I know this might be like putting spiritual into it, but have you ever had like situations where you're trying to leave your house and the Holy Spirit's like, don't wear that shoe, I'll go and change this dress, but then you don't listen? But like trivial things like that, the Holy Spirit is interested in, and sometimes it doesn't want to waste your time. So even before I went on that like coffee dates, because usually I don't like full on dates when I'm just meeting somebody like, let's have coffee, I already knew, but it was because my mom.
So you have to just comply.
Yeah, so I went, and it was just it was just work. And then the guy was just talking about all these different things, because even when she sent me his whatever, like his values already, I could already tell. So just kind of watch stuff like that, so that way you don't waste your time. Or Yeah, so you don't waste time. I know there's this thing I've heard, like, girls will just go on dates because I beg, like, it's free food.
Go, yeah.
And like, oh, just to go out. I don't know, that's not right.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, if
you're not interested, don't set the precedent.
Exactly. So if you know within you that, you know what, I ain't feeling this guy.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Yeah,
like,
don't
do it
it's
because of the free food.
Yeah.
Right. And in addition to that, I've actually heard, or actually I know some people that were like, nah, don't hook me up.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave it a try. And now they're married.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are those too, right?
Yeah.
So maybe
I
just need to deal with my issues.
Yeah, you never know. That could be the person. You just never know.
Yeah, and again, it just always depends on whoever the person is that's setting me up. Like, if it feels very pressured. And I guess that's been my experience in the past. Like, there's just more pressure from the person. And yeah, because you can't come back and be like, oh, I wasn't feeling them because of this. And there's like, oh, why? And you're just supposed to just take it. So, again, you have the Holy Spirit in you. Don't discount him. So number 6. Oh, this one's good. No, number 5. Ooh, Barry, you're going to like this one. So this person is saying, so I like this guy, or it could also apply to girls. I like this girl, but I think he or she is shy. Or I think this one's more he. I think he's shy. How should I position myself to make him approach me? But then, would positioning myself make me seem desperate? I think this happens a lot, like in church.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, where you just be eyeing that guy, you know, like he just be looking good, but.
Man. Okay, I'll say this. Guys, sometimes guys don't see what is right in front of them, to be very honest.
Even with your glasses like this.
Trust me, it's right there, but they just don't see it.
Ladies, we have to help them out.
Yes. So, I say this to even friends that I have. I'm like, honestly, if you like that guy and you are trying to be there, but the guy is just not seeing it. Sometimes guys just need like a nudge. Mm-hmm. And another thing is sometimes guys may, they may feel it, but they just can't work up the courage.
Is that really a thing? Because I feel like we've been sold a lie that to guy, if he's interested in you, you find the courage.
Guys also we're scared of being dumped or rejected. Yes, we're scared of being rejected. Honestly, because the thing is, guys are in most cases, guys are the ones that pursue.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's even biblical as well, too, right? Mm-hmm. So you have where guys pursue, and trust me, if you know how many times guys get rejected, even me, Seth, I can't count how many times.
How do you guys feel after that?
I mean, we try to brush it off like, no big deal, but it does hurt.
So ladies, even if you're not interested in the guy, be graceful about it.
Yeah. Very important. If you don't like a guy, there's a way you can just kind of let them down.
And some other girl likes him. So just because you don't like the person doesn't mean... Yeah, so be graceful about it. Be nice. Plus, understanding the person is also made in the image of God, so...
Yes, true. Yeah. So positioning yourself, I would say...
So you're saying we should?
Yes.
Okay,
definitely.
How do we do that? Let me write notes.
How do you do that?
Tell me now, Barry.
I would say, honestly, if it's someone that's in your church, always try to be, in the same vicinity. Try to do things together,
So go for young adult meetings if they are there.
Yes. Go for young adult meetings. Talk, speak up. Let the guy kind of see.
So talk how though? Like, what if you're not a talky person? Like, you're the shy introvert, like...
I mean, if you're shy and introverted, I don't know. You because the guy has to notice you. And how does he notice you is when when your presence is there. Or, actually, if you're shy and introverted, you could use a friend, to kind of lay a seat, honestly, in the person's head. Trust me, it works. Just let him mention it. Oh, how do you think about this? Just casually. And he has it in his head, even though you haven't done anything. And he's going to think about it. Wow, actually, that's legit. It now stays in his subconscious.
You plant a seed.
Right. I had that experience too, so I can tell you it works.
Is that how the one came to be?
I can tell you it works. Someone said, yes. Someone mentioned it.
Someone mentioned it
and said, oh, yeah. what about so? And literally, it wasn't even,
like the
even
light
coded.
bulb just went on.
No, it wasn't even coded. Like, she didn't even say it like just to me. We were all there. And, well, my current fiancé was there. And she literally said it publicly. I was like, whoa. And I just kind of laughed it off. But later, I like legit, I was like,
You're not going on a social media profile. Like,
I was like, wait, hold up, bro. Yeah. I was like, you know what? Hold on.
That's how
Let
you
me see.
that's
She's
how
not
you
bad.
research people, yeah.
I'm like, hey. All right. Well,
She's fine, though.
fine.
You did not double tap by mistake, did you?
No. You always have to be very careful.
I know, like you just.
But
like
legit,
stealth.
when she said it, because I was not looking that way. She was a friend. She was cool. But when someone said it, I was like, oh, okay, possibly. And I checked her out. I was like, okay.
Hi,
cool.
fiance.
So it does work. So if you're shy, if you're introverted, you can get someone to kind of like just just place that seed in his head, and it would be.
And one thing I would add to that is that, and I see it work even. So surprisingly, people think just because I'm always out there, I'm extrovert. I'm an extrovert. Like I guess I style flex. So usually in a place where maybe I'm feeling really shy. And when I started coming to church, like it was so uncomfortable.
Really?
Yes, it was so uncomfortable. But it was like very out of my, like the church was there's more people, so I was so out of my thing. But what I say to people is that like volunteer for stuff. So let's say your young adults group is having whatever. Because as a volunteer, you get to go talk to people by virtue of your position. So let's say like be a check-in or registration because they are moving past you. Then you say hello.
Honestly, that's another one.
So if you're an introvert,
yes, those are things you could do. Honestly, just be there.
Yeah.
Just get involved. If they need people to call people up and say, "Oh, how you doing?"
Yes. Oh, I think that's how my sister. That's how my sister. I know.
Be the one. Be like, say, "Oh, hi, how are you? This is so from
I'm calling
church."
on behalf of.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And you never know.
Yes.
I know people that actually are married right now in my church, and that was what happened.
Yeah, and because you have their number, and then you can always like check on them, and then from there it's just like casual. Another one that so let me not lie, I've used this before. If you're like maybe some sort of a leader in some sort of capacity, you can step in. Like, so there are times where I will come out of Tolu and I'll come to the person as like in the name of, oh, hey, my name is Tolu. I'm like the young professionals leader here and just wanted to like say hi to you. I'm sorry, but it works like to kind of get you
use your position.
Yes.
Position
to kind of get you. No, not to like, say you have to date me because no. But like just to kind of break the ice, right? Because then it's like when you're getting to know them, it doesn't seem like what's that problem? But it's more like like I'm one of the leaders of whatever. Yeah. It's just kind of on the same plane as the whole like when you volunteer, you're using that position of I'm a follow-up-y person.
Yeah. So I agree.
Yeah, I talked about the church, guys.
So many tips out there. You could...
All right, guys. In 10 frequently asked questions about being in a godly relationship, we've just gone through 5 right now. We're going to just do the rest of it in part 2. So stay tuned for part 2 where we talk more about some other... It gets really juicy, trust me. Like, Barry, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, like you would want to come back next week for part 2 to get like... To just hear more about the gist. Barry, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
We're still going to do part 2. So, stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, Barry, what should they do?
Subscribe.
Barry, are you subscribed to Manifest Hub? I swear if you're not subscribed.
I am.
I'm going to go and find you right now. Before I unfriend you. But subscribe. Don't just subscribe. Share with your friends. Because these tips are helpful.
Very, they are. And it creates a conversation as well. So
yeah. So before we sign off, I want to start doing this thing where I'll just shout out a special person. So think of somebody maybe you want to shout out. So for this one, I want to shout out Tolu Ade from PEI Canada. She's been really, really amazing just getting engaged on our Manifest Hub Instagram and sharing to get her friends to follow, and she helped us to reach 300 subscribers. I was going to say 3,000, but we're coming for that. Who do you want to shout out?
Do I have a choice?
Should I guess?
I'll shout out my fiance, Consolante.
What's the name again?
Consolante.
She has a YouTube channel.
She does have a YouTube channel.
What is it?
Consolante. CONSOLANTE space TSHI.
And I'll put the link below. She does some really cool stuff. So yeah, let's support one another.
Yes.
Until next time, thanks for joining us on this episode. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.